So an auxiliary, I didn't like search the Latin roots of this or anything. Maybe that would have helped. But it's a group of people who have things in common typically, and we just work together in small groups to try and make a little bit of a difference and a little bit of, work to help Christ Child. I was part of the last group, which Emily, when was that founded?
16 years ago.
Okay, so 16 years ago was the last time we started a new auxiliary. Over the course of COVID and all the things, like all the auxiliaries have sort of been taking a rest, and so we're excited to reinvigorate and reengage all the auxiliaries. Janet did a great job pulling together like this blue piece of paper, which I won't read to you, but it has sort of a vision and outline for different types of auxiliaries, and that will be good information. Okay, so part of what we're trying to do as part of this revigoration, or I don't think that's a word, but is to revitalization, is to sit down with each group and help come up with like, what is meaningful work for these groups? What should we be doing? How do we spend our time so that everyone feels like they're doing good? This summer, we got together with a group of people and pulled together like, what's the value in joining an auxiliary? And that group came up with 7 great categories that help summarize, what is this? So number one was people. You get to make friends, you get to network, and you get to meet people from all over the city. Like that's the main drive as far as people. So getting to know them. Service, doing hands-on service, doing good work, and feeling like you impact the community. So service is second. Mission, that you feel drawn to what we're talking about, women and children, and a desire for involvement, and education to end the poverty cycle. Community, building community. A lot of the events involve spouses, learning more about Omaha, things like that. Faith-based, so knowing that you can be around people who are also people who love Jesus. And history, so there's a lot of history. In fact, tonight I met one of my grandma's best friend's daughters, and it was so fun to reconnect with her. My grandma was in Christ Child, my mom was in Christ Child, and I just remember as a kid, like, the invitations would be around or whatever, or where are you going? And my mom and grandma would always say, we're going to Christ Child. So when Emily called and said, do you want to be in Christ Child? I was like, well, I guess I should figure out what that's about. My mom and grandma did it. So, and then the chance for personal development and growing in your skills as far as like fundraising and philanthropy and all those things. So that is sort of like what the value is. If you're seeking any of that I just talked about, you might be interested in joining an auxiliary. We talked about the work. So the point of this is like, we want meaningful work, but we don't want it to be hard. We don't want it to be like the point my mom always used to say. She's like, Christ Child is supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be something you can do your entire life. So maybe some years you can get really involved and do a lot, and some years you just get the emails, and that's okay. Right? Like it's a season. Everything's a season. So when we talked about what the meaningful work looks like for an auxiliary, we want it to be simple. We want it to be successful, like small wins. We want things where we can do hands-on if we want, things where some groups maybe want to bring their families, some people want to get away from their families, some people want to, all the things. Friendship, community, mission-based, and then some element of fundraising. So that is sort of what the auxiliaries are, what you would expect to be doing. None of this is defined. So like one of the groups decided they wanted to focus on car seats, and that's how we got into car seats. Like Janet mentioned, it's finding a need in the community and filling it. So each group would be able to do something like that. So we're doing the planning process. We're hoping, if this hasn't been unveiled already, like through Shrouded Speak, we're hoping to start a new auxiliary with a new, and maybe 2. So definitely we want to start one with young families, kids not in school yet, sort of going there. We also would love to start a young professionals auxiliary, so if there's anyone who would like to step forward and sort of say you're interested in that, we would love that. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say? Do I talk about the signing in?
Oh, you can, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Or we can have Shannon do that with that.
I can do that, yeah.
Okay, all right. So with that, I'm going to let Emily talk about what starting an auxiliary looks like.